What is that?
I don't really know.
This is what I'm talking about.
Did you know about the film that outright stole Frozen's title and name?
Wait, what?
Or the difference between Ratatouille and Ratatouing? Well, we've got answers for you in this list of animated movies that borrowed from more popular ones. Number 1. 2 ant-related films, one is remembered fondly, and one is barely remembered at all. Ants essentially has the same premise as A Bug's Life. An odd, misfit insect discovers that he is more than a faceless drone of an oppressive regime and goes on to do great things. Antz was made faster and so skimped on animation quality, but had plenty of gags and a cast of famous actors to paint over inadequacies with star power. During production, there was a public feud between DreamWorks co-founder Jeffrey Katzenberg and John Lasseter of Pixar over the controversial parallels. We wonder why. Number 2. As far as rodent heists go, we prefer the raccoons. When DreamWorks released Over the Hedge in 2006, it didn't exactly make a huge splash. However, it at least gave audiences a pretty fun comedy about a con artist raccoon, an energetic squirrel, and their furry friends finding out that suburbia is starting to ruin their woodland lives. The nutjob spent less time on characters and plot, and more time on bad puns about nuts. The Nutjob was received negatively by viewers. Of course, DreamWorks did not have exclusive rights to squirrel-related heists, but if you're going to do such a similar story, at least make it funny. Number 3. Look, you gotta at least change the animal characters if you're going to rip off another film. A film where a group of animals, raised in captivity, find themselves accidentally leaving New York Central Park Zoo and find themselves bound for Africa. The creatures then band together to help get home safely as they discover that the jungle is meaner than they had anticipated. That summary could have been describing both Madagascar, released in 2005, and The Wild, which came out in 2006. The movies have almost identical setups and very similar messages. As animated movies take so long to develop, the release date doesn't necessarily reveal who ripped off who, but Madagascar landed a lot better, with dance numbers and songs that made it more popular. Number 4. You would be forgiven if you thought these two were the same movie. Disney's 2013 film Planes was already a clear spin-off from Pixar's Car franchise. The similarities between the movies about anthropomorphized vehicles competing in high-speed races were on purpose. Despite not being produced by Pixar, the film was co-written and executively produced by Pixar, and so this ripoff was pre-approved. What was less valid was Lionsgate's own direct-to-DVD movie Wings. Unlike many of the other direct-to-video, low-budget copies of well-known animations out there, this has a surprisingly recognizable Hollywood cast, including Josh Duhamel, Hilary Duff, and Rob Schneider. Like Planes, it features a plucky plane looking to compete in a famous race. That's pretty much all there is to it. Planes was already a generic cash-in with a lower budget, but hastily made Wings is even less than that. Number 5. Audiences were shark-baited into believing these were the same movie. Shark Tale is the well-known but not so well-beloved 2004 film starring Will Smith. Shark Bait is a 2006 South Korean-American CG animation. It was known as The Reef in the UK and Northern America, and despite its status as a co-production between South Korea and America, it never received a theatrical release. The plot revolves around a suspiciously familiar-looking small orange fish named Pie, and his attempt to win the heart of suspiciously familiar-looking feminine pink fish Cordelia, while dealing with a tiger shark that is terrorizing him and the inhabitants of the reef. Criticized for references to multiple other movies and its obvious ripping off of character designs from both Shark Tale and Finding Nemo, it was also a simplistic story with bland animation. Just one look at the DVD cover shows that they were simply cashing in on looking like the other, more popular movies. And don't get us started on the already problematic release of Shark Tale so soon after Finding Nemo. Number 6. Folks just love to steal other studios' great fish-based ideas. Izzy's Way Home is an American direct-to-video film produced by The Asylum. The Asylum are more famous for such classics as Sharknado, with this fish-centric cartoon being their first animated release. This low-budget ripoff is extremely similar to Pixar's family-friendly sequel. Izzy is an oddball fish who lives with her father, Harold. He tries hard to protect her from bullies and from being returned to the ocean by the human who maintains the aquarium. In a shocking twist, Izzy and Harold do end up being returned to the sea and are separated. The film centers on Izzy befriending the other fish as she and her father search for one another. With a suspiciously similar cover design, questionable voice acting, and mediocre animation, there is little to recommend in this movie. This cash grab might be one of the most obvious on this list. Number 7. Kung Fu Panda had many imitators, but this one is probably the worst. Kung Fu Panda was a massive hit with a great story, amazing animation, and a great voice cast. The little panda fighter is technically a film. You've likely never seen this imitation of a movie before unless you've seen the reviews done by some big YouTubers. But it stars a panda who dreams of being more than a janitor at the boxing bar he works at. The film also features a Master Shifu ripoff character, what someone in the world might call jokes, and some truly horrifying animation. Number 8. If you thought we were talking about that beer commercial, you thought wrong. We're talking about the thinly veiled ripoff of Pixar's Up, named What's Up? They really hid their tracks, didn't they? Unlike the heartwarming yet devastating Pixar film Up, in What's Up, a quirky professor and his young friends use a balloon-powered flying house to defeat a dastardly foe. Or at least we think that's the plot. It's very hard to tell, honestly. The important thing to note is the similar title and use of a house with balloons helping it fly to dupe witless parents into accidentally renting this for their families. At the very least, they didn't have to watch that sad opening of the superior film. Number 9. Our apologies if you accidentally rented one of these instead of the other, but this ripoff actually didn't get away with it. Frozen Land, originally titled The Legend of Cirilla, was sued by Disney for copyright infringement, and if you look at the cover, you'll see why. As far as the actual plot and characters, Frozen Land does not imitate Disney's blockbuster Frozen. However, it was revealed the imitating film quickly changed its title and cover art just before release, likely to cash in on Frozen's success. Disney was not amused, and so the film had to then revert back to its original title, living in infamy as the film that tried to be Frozen, but was very much not Frozen. We hope they let it go! Number 10. Which famous dish do you prefer, Ratatouille or the delicious Ratatouing? If you said the second dish doesn't exist, you'd be right, but the movie sure does. After one of the greatest animated films, Ratatouille, debuted to universal acclaim, another studio just so happened to create a film about rats with an oddly similar name. In the film, the rats are chefs who steal from human restaurants to serve their own kind. What a crazy coincidence! Running at a lengthy 44 minutes, Ratatouille's animation, plot, and story don't quite compare to Pixar's magnum opus. But look at the bright side, it's only 44 minutes long. Those were all our favorite animated ripoffs we could find. Any famous ripoff films you know about that we forgot to mention? Which one of these was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for more animated content. And thanks for watching The Things Animated.